Hello, this is Matthew Chan, and welcome to the latest episode of Courtroom Strategy with New York attorney Oscar Michelen and myself. And today we're going to talk about a very fun topic. We're going to talk about why people hate lawyers. So, why do we hate you so much, Oscar? I mean, I can think of a whole bunch of reasons why I'm kind of disliking you right now.
Well, first of all, I would imagine it's present company accepted, of course. My clients all love me. My family loves me. Everybody loves me. No, you know, lawyers get a very bad rap, in my opinion.
Okay.
And I'm not too fond of many of them. Well, I'm not too fond of many of them myself, to be honest with you. My joke is always if I didn't have to deal with lawyers and judges, it would be a really good career. But but there really there's a number of reasons why this perception, this hatred, if you will, of lawyers is out there. You know, we talked about earlier about why folks go to law school and young lawyers starting to learn their practice in one of our previous episodes.
Right, that was in our last episode.
It's kind of related. It's kind of related to that. I think, my opinion. You know, when you hire a roofer, you pay the guy, $5,000, and your house gets a new roof. Mm-hmm. And there's your $5,000. It's up there on your house. The house looks good. There's no more water coming into your house. And you got your $5,000 worth.
Right. It's very tangible.
It's tangible. You go to a doctor, right? Your foot hurts. You pay him $5,000. You do a little surgery, put you in a cast. Your foot doesn't hurt anymore. You can understand what he's accomplished because you can kind of see it.
Yes.
We don't do any of that. You don't get anything from us. I mean, yes, certainly. You pay a lawyer for a will, you get a will. You pay a lawyer for a trust, you get a trust document.
Yes.
That produces something tangible.
Right.
But litigation in particular is very different. You're paying for time. What is that? It's on an honor system. You get the bill. Did the lawyer really need to spend 2 hours to do that? Oh my God, did he really charge me for, I only spoke to him for 10 minutes. He's charged me for a 10-minute phone call.
Yeah, that's an issue.
He wrote a letter. I didn't even see the letter. Where's the letter? How long did it take him to write the letter?
Right.
So you don't get any feeling that there's something that's going on. I think that's one of the main problems. The other problem, I think, is it doesn't look like it requires any particular skill. But, doctors understand, hey, you made it through medical school. You see a carpenter who could frame a house, right? And someone says, I can't do that. But a lawyer, he's got a briefcase, and he's got his mouth and a pen. It doesn't look like it's all that difficult, and it looks kind of like you're just kind of coasting through and earning a lot of money for not doing anything in particular. That looks very, very hard. So there's not a clear understanding of what it takes to be an effective attorney, or an appreciation, I should say, of what it takes.
Well, let me offer a couple
you're
of
a business. You've had some lawyers. What do you think?
Well, first of all, I do have a healthy respect for lawyers because obviously I've been involved with legal issues and stuff myself, so I have a certain amount of respect for their profession. But there are things that have turned me off regarding certain lawyers. Like, one of the things that really offends me a little bit is, like, when you walk into a snazzy office, okay, just, nice furniture, a prime address and all that, I'm thinking, you know what? All of this is being paid. If you had, like, some somewhat more low, less expensive furniture, a less prestigious address and all that stuff, I'm thinking maybe the rates would be a little bit more reasonable to me. I don't like paying for fluff. I don't like that. I don't mind. I'm a firm believer in having the right equipment, the right environment. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying you got to go to, the tough part of town and whatever. But I don't like the extravagance when I walk in. I just feel like I'm paying for all of this. I don't think you have to have all that to be a good lawyer.
I think there's a little bit of concern when people see the trappings and that, and you see some lawyers, in the very expensive, suit and driving very nice cars, and you start to think, am I really, paying for his lifestyle, and why am I paying for his lifestyle? I think that's certainly part of it. But on the other hand, you'll see a lot of clients will come into a modest office and say, "My God, this guy must be a lousy lawyer. I'm not going to go to this guy."
Well, exactly. So, there is a fine line.
You got to be careful.
Right. No, you're absolutely right. I agree with that. There is a such thing as presentation, and if it's too cheesy looking, that's also a strike. Another thing is, I think, and we touched on this on the last episode, that attorneys feel like they have to know. They have to put on the perception. They know every aspect of law. They're good at criminal. They're good at defense. They're good at intellectual property. They're good at mental. They're good at everything. Yeah. And they're going to try. And that's not true. I mean, I think there are specialties. And I respect an attorney more when they say, look, this is my core competency. This is what I'm good at. And I don't respect them as much when they say, well, I'll take any case. I'm good at everything. What do you think about that? There's a desperate hunger that to have cases, the ambulance chasing, I could do that, type of mentality, certainly, particularly with younger folks or folks who don't have a very healthy practice in a particular, range of maybe 2 or 3 practice areas. But I think it goes a little bit back further to what you were saying too, is some lawyers, look at the people who are generally drawn to law school, right? Most of them, think they're smarter than the average person, whether they are or they aren't. Most of them probably like to argue, thinking that arguing is really what a lawyer does most of the time. Most of them, are willing to look at these little minor details and point out little mistakes and minor flaws. That doesn't sound like a person I want at a party. I don't know about you, but that seems to be like a lot of what law schools are attracting. Mm-hmm. And so you get a person out there who maybe is a little arrogant, thinks they know a little bit more than you do, and does not appreciate what you know about your life and your business, and is trying to tell you what to do. So that certainly puts people off. What do you know about my business? What do you know about my life? And you're trying to tell me what to do. Or the court, the judge is trying to tell you what to do. And what's he? He's just a glorified lawyer. So that's definitely a bigger part of it. And it's the same thing too, which is like, for example, when you have a very savvy business client, we talked about this last episode too, that person knows the law in his little field and could probably tell you how this is going to come out. They'll be able to tell you what the result is going to be, or it should be, but they don't have that law degree. That's correct.
So the only thing stopping them is that piece of paper that you have. So it gets a little resentful that I got to rely on this guy to tell my side of the story.
Yeah.
And why? He never ran a container company. Mm-hmm. What's he talking about? Right. Plus the adversarial nature of it. Another reason why people hate lawyers is because if you have a lawyer, what does that mean? Somebody else has a lawyer, right?
Yeah.
You don't normally need a lawyer to protect yourself from yourself. So that means someone on the other side has a lawyer who's probably saying some very nasty things about you. So the system is adversarial, and that makes people resent the lawyer on the other side. If you talk to a lot of people, they'll say, I hate lawyers. Oh, not mine. My lawyer's a great guy. He's honest, he's diligent, I love the guy. But you should see her lawyer. Her lawyer's a son of a bitch. He lies. He'll say whatever it takes to win. He's an animal. Meanwhile, if the woman were to be asked, she'd say, well, my lawyer's, he's great. He's a fighter. He's really dedicated to my side. But that bastard's lawyer is a lowlife. Okay? So, there's always some lawyer on the other side trying to stop you from what it is you want to accomplish. And we hate that guy. Right. And that's part of the problem. The adversarial nature of the practice means there's always somebody on the other side who is going to piss you off and you're going to pass that on to lawyers in general. I think that's got a lot to do with it. I don't know anybody. Only the most savvy business people. I've had very savvy business people as clients, and they've said, you know what, that guy's a good lawyer on the other side. I got to give it to him because they're in litigation, they know the deal, and they respect it, and
they don't personalize it as much.
Yeah, they don't personalize. They realize he's doing a job, we're doing a job.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And I've had people who've come to me, by the way. Those are my favorite types of clients because they'll come to me and they'll say, I need a good lawyer. I don't need just a lawyer. The other side's got a really good lawyer. I'm getting my butt kicked. I need to get experienced counsel. I need somebody on the other side who can balance the equation. And we're gonna have to work hard because they got good lawyers.
Well, so, I do have something I want to say that's a bit of a rub for me. Yeah. And I don't know. It's not really a hate, but it's definitely a concern. There seems to be this private club. I remember when I was first exposed to this, I think I was like 21 or something like that. And I got called into jury duty and I got selected to be on the jury, and I was actually pretty shocked. And so anyway, it was a medical malpractice suit. And anyway, you're expecting this since it could be adversarial. Yet during the breaks, the attorneys were all friendly and everything. And I always thought, wow, there's this little club going on. And of course, now as I've advanced in years, I found out, okay, you can be friends with the judges. So, you're friends with the opponent. It's like, holy mackerel. And so there's always a doubt whether or not there's a respect of confidentiality. Are they really, can they really do their jobs? If they're going up against their friends, can they you know what I'm saying? If there's all of this...
Is it really fair?
Yeah. I mean, and it sometimes rubs me wrong. Obviously, if it plays in my favor, I'm not upset. I'll say, yeah, we're friends with the judge. This is a good thing. But if I'm on the other side, no, I don't like that at all.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
That's an excellent point.
So there is this discomfort. People know this happens with the legal community.
And it's a good point. And especially very, very carefully have to think about how it looks to both jurors and your clients. The perception looks like we all think of it as just a game. It's just
a day in a job. There's sporting.
I don't really care about the case. I'll get another case tomorrow. I can't say anything too bad because I see this lawyer all the time. He's not going to fight so hard. He's going to give him adjournments. He's going to give him all these courtesies because they're buddies. They golf together. I don't golf, by the way. I'm still waiting for stickball to be the official sport of lawyers, but that's never coming around. But in any event, so there's that perception of the clubbiness of it that, it's all kind of a game, and you got to know who the judge is, and judges are just lawyers. And I think lawyers need to fight that perception in a number of ways. If you're savvy and you're picking a jury, you'll explain that to a jury. And I do it every jury selection.
Oh, really?
I say, listen, I don't try a case without saying they may see me and my adversary being very cordial to each other in the hallway and maybe even in court. Please do not think that means that I agree with any of his positions or that I'm any less adversarial. But we're professionals. We're here together, and it's a small circle. Yes, we do litigate against each other from time to time. But trust me, I fully expect to prove that I'm right and he's wrong, and he knows that's going to come, and he thinks that he's right and that I'm wrong, and you're the ones who are going to decide. So don't let the fact that you may see us having a laugh together, or I'm going down for coffee, I may bring back him coffee, something along those lines. That doesn't mean that I'm weak or that we're in agreement. It's just a professional courtesy because we're stuck together in the same area and in the same community. It's just normal. However, I do try to avoid that, and I take great pains to avoid that when I'm on trial, not to have the jury see that. It's going to happen. In particular, I've had cases against people I've known for 20 years, and we litigate against each other. And because we're both experienced, we know the gloves are going to come off, and we're representing clients. It's nothing personal. but I still make sure that, it doesn't look too chubby, especially for the, clients really don't like that, Matt. You bring up an excellent point.
Yeah.
Particularly for the clients, it's very important to put that off and just handle yourself professionally and deal with your friendship, at some other time. So, I could certainly see that. And I think the clubbiness of it is part of the problem in the sense that for business folks, why they don't like lawyers is because they see that it seems a lot of times the system is built to help lawyers because it's written by lawyers. The legislatures are predominantly lawyers. They're packed with lawyers. Most of the governors in this state are lawyers.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to lead to. I mean, a lot of politicians, they came from a legal background, because the government is, by its nature, full of laws. I mean, you're governed by rules and regulations. So it's a natural progression. And
government government is the essence of government is navigating the laws and applying the laws to the people. So you're absolutely right. So there's this perception that, oh, come on, nothing gets done because all these rules are in place to protect the lawyers and to protect the litigation or protect the particular field that you're in, and that there's a certain level of control. Lawyers, are blamed for, pretty much all the ills of society because it's the legislature that passes the laws. A large number of presidents, were lawyers. Most of them in recent memory, had some legal background. You'd have to go back to, I think,
President Obama, he had a legal background.
Obama, before him. Reagan was not an attorney. Carter was not an attorney.
Right, Clinton, right. But he was he had a legal background as well.
Clinton was a lawyer. So you have a large history of the legal profession in the White House and in the governor's house, and that is another reason why people don't
because politicians aren't that popular either. There's that link to the legal profession.
They're the only ones. Yeah, it's hard to say who's winning that battle of love, but so I think that's certainly part of the problem. And the other thing is that it's not cheap. Lawyers are not cheap. They generally cost a lot of money.
They're very expensive as a general rule.
Very expensive, and the American system does not give you back your legal fees. So now some putz sues you, for no reason or for the slimmest of reasons. You hire a lawyer, you win, but it's cost you $25,000.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, what's this? $25,000 for what? I can't get that back? Now, more and more courts and laws are giving people their fees for frivolous lawsuits and things of that nature, but we're still a long way from the English system, which is whoever loses pays the litigator fees. So that's the other thing, that you can spend a ton of money and not come away with a tangible result because you won, but what'd you win? Or for example, let's say you sue somebody, they stole a business idea of yours, and you win. So you win a judgment for $150,000. It cost you $15,000 or $20,000 in legal fees to win that. But the guy doesn't have a...
Right. You might not even collect that on it at all. Right.
You can't collect.
It's a paper win, and that's about it. But your financial loss is real for the legal fees.
Exactly right. Exactly right. And either way, the lawyer wins, right? Because he got paid.
Right.
And then you have, like for example, if you own residential real estate and you're renting out to people, you're pouring all this money to try to get people evicted. They're not paying you rent.
Yeah.
You're just pouring money down the hole. The court system protects the tenants very, very much.
And you're bleeding on the mortgage. I mean, you're taking it all the way around.
Right, exactly. So there's not a lot of love. It's only the savviest of clients, or when they have really, good cases, people say, "Oh, I got to call Oscar." I mean, no one likes to call me. That's that's a difficult thing. It's never good to have the last thing a client says to you is, well, that was great, Oscar. I hope to never see you again. It's not a warm and fuzzy feeling. Certainly when we bring the claims like copyright infringement claims that we win, we get our money back, we get our clients' money, you get legal fees. There's lots of times when people are very satisfied with the results. We had, I won't get into it, we had a very, very big win today, and the clients, there's a number of clients, they've been calling all day, thanking me. We got an excellent result, and it's really life-changing for them, and it's very, very rewarding. So if you were to ask them right now, today, they love lawyers. When you win, you love your lawyer.
Yeah.
When you win, you love your lawyer. So I think, I think people should probably get a little bit more educated about what it is lawyers do, what it takes to become a lawyer, what it takes to get through law school. And also, and I say this very lightly, I think we should probably wrap it up on a positive note. I'm going to get some groans here, but just about every positive social change in America came through law and through lawyers, where we ended slavery, we ended segregation, we ended unfair treatment of workers, we tried to make the political system as fairly as possible. Mm-hmm. We gave people the right to vote. There are seatbelts in cars. There are safer roadways. Minors can't drink. There's a lot of things that are accomplished, through law. And law is, without a doubt, in my opinion, the most positive force for social change in the country. So, having waved the flag,
civilized world, at least in a civilized world, right? We have some countries that don't really respect the rule of law that well.
I'm talking about this country only.
Yeah,
I'm speaking just about all of that. Yeah, all of that occurred right in this country. I'm talking about right here. We are a nation of laws.
Yes, we are.
And as bad as the courtroom is, and as difficult it can be, it beats the arena. Okay, it beats having to go in there. You got a machete and he's got a whip, and may the strongest win. Right. The law allows people without power to at least challenge power and get access to services and things that they would not otherwise be entitled to. So I'm off my high horse now. So those are the reasons why you should love your lawyer, and a little explanation why I think people tend to think that, they'd rather not run into a lawyer if they didn't have to.
Well, I think our viewers at this point know that when we talk about the lawyer hating, it's a little bit tongue in cheek. Certainly, there are in any profession, in every profession, there's bad players and there are good players. And the one quick thing before we leave is I did want to ask you real quick. Is what do you think about the cheese factor? And what I mean by that is there are people that are real uppity and, they're very traditionalists.
Yeah.
Okay. And, we talked about the nice office and stuff. But then again, there's somebody like you who, some could perceive as being a little unorthodox. Like we're doing this video. You're being so open. We're having conversation and I say, oh, that's just too out there.
Yeah.
What are your feelings about that, the cheese factor? Because people do think that some lawyers are cheesy. I don't know how else to say it. But the definition is different for different people.
Yeah. No, my idea of it is I think this whole purpose is to try to make law more accessible to people. That's why I blog about it. My blog is not written for lawyers. It's not written at the level of a lawyer. It's not a law review article. It's to explain interesting cases and how to survive the courtroom through strategy if you find yourself in a courtroom, and how different issues that play out every day might have been different had a different strategy been applied. So I'm always into trying to make law more accessible to non-lawyers and to the average person and to business folks and whoever find themselves, in court. I think a lot of lawyers are arrogant. I think some of them are in love with themselves. I think they definitely think very highly of themselves. I think they like the fact that they're making money, a lot of money and have very soft hands. So you're gonna get those types of folks. And at the same time, though, I do think it's important that your lawyer sends a message about who he is and how they present themselves is important. And we're judged by that. I think that's a very important part of the perception of lawyers. You got to, and again, and talking to my law students, I say you have to find that balance between, being sloppy and then shifting all the way over to what I call peacock. I see these lawyers that go into the peacock stage, huge plumes, handkerchiefs that match the tie, straw boater, a flower in the lapel.
They go all the way, huh?
Some guys can pull that off, walking sticks or whatever. But I think generally just want to be professional in your appearance and in the way you handle yourself. A law office should give people comfort that you're established, that you are able to handle their matter. They should be comfortable in it. It should be comforting for them to sit in it, and be a positive environment to be able to have serious discussions about the various issues that you're having. But it shouldn't go over the way to ostentation and, like I call it, the peacock stage. So
I think that's a very good term, Oscar. The peacock term.
Yeah.
Well, for whatever it's worth, I tend to gravitate to people that have their feet to the ground, and I think that's why you and I have really worked really well. I mean, going on 3 years. I mean, we have this friendship that was really born out of something that was fundamentally negative. And, and I've actually thought to myself, in the beginning, I was just really mad about the situation, about how we met and everything. And over time, I'm thinking, it was a kind of a blessing in disguise, because if that had never happened, you and I wouldn't have gotten together, struck up a friendship, and we haven't worked together. Now we're doing a show together. We're educating the world, and we're using, we're using very, what I hope to be down to earth language, and because I do think there is a need, I really do, and I respect you a lot for, just kicking back, I
appreciate that. I love doing it.
Yeah, because, I could just see some lawyers, they just say, well, why would I want to waste my time? Why would I want to give my information? This is kind of a cheesy production, whatever, because it's not Hollywood or whatever, because this is fairly low budget, as you can see.
Yeah, we're just trying to do it very straightforward and very simply.
Yeah, exactly. Well, Oscar, do you have any parting words before we wrap up this episode?
No, just, please remember that, we're here. If you need more information, you can contact me through my various websites. And that, hug your lawyer. Probably.
Okay, I certainly didn't expect that. When we do these shows, it's so spontaneous. We just never know what's going to come out of each other's mouths. Okay, the parting message is go hug a lawyer today. They've been hated so much. Go hug somebody today. All right. Well, on behalf of myself and Oscar, thank you for taking the time to view this episode. And but stay tuned. Come to tempestbroadcasting.com, and we're going to have new episodes of Courtroom Strategy coming very soon. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt.